You're doing everything you were taught. You budget, you pay bills on time, and scrape a little into savings. Yet you are still barely treading water. When you follow the rules of financial adulthood to the letter, why does it still feel impossible to actually get ahead? The baseline habits we consider responsible are often products of a system designed to prioritize a bank's profit margins over your personal net worth. When an account triggers a low balance charge or an overdraft fee, it creates a deficit that pulls from your next paycheck before you even receive it. Over time, these small subtractions shrink your available cash, often forcing a reliance on credit to cover the gap at the end of the month. Achieving stability requires looking past these standard prompts and examining the data the financial industry uses to keep consumers predictable. Most people organize their month around round numbers, perhaps $200 for groceries or $100 for gas. These clean figures represent an aspirational version of your life. They rarely account for the actual, varied costs of your daily habits. While you work with estimates, your bank tracks the exact cost of every transaction. They possess a complete map of your spending behavior, while most consumers are left navigating by intuition. To bridge this gap, you need to audit your last 3 bank statements. Find the real, messy averages for every category to see exactly where your money is flowing. Once you have accurate data, you face the second hurdle, the constant stream of retail impulses. Retailers invest billions to remove friction from the buying process. One-click checkouts and saved payment info are designed to make the time between wanting an item and buying it almost instantaneous. You can counter this by reintroducing friction. Applying a 48-hour rule to any non-essential purchase over $50 forces a cooling-off period. This graph illustrates how impulse desire behaves over time. For most people, that urge drops by 60 to 80% once they are 48 hours removed from the initial prompt. Mastering your spending is less about building willpower and more about creating structural barriers that outsmart corporate data. Credit card statements utilize a specific visual prompt to influence your behavior, the minimum payment. Banks use a proprietary algorithm to calculate this figure. It is designed to keep the account in good standing while stretching interest payments over the longest possible timeline. Consider a $5,000 balance on a card with a 22% interest rate. Paying only the $100 minimum extends the payoff period to 7 years and adds $4,000 to the total cost in interest alone. Always double the minimum payment. This adjustment accelerates the principal reduction and alters the math of the bank's intended payoff schedule. Standard debt prompts are optimized for institutional revenue, making them a poor guide for anyone seeking debt relief. Another common habit is keeping an emergency fund in a traditional bank's default savings account. Traditional banks offer interest as low as 0.01%, while high-yield savings accounts offer between 4 and 5%. On a $10,000 balance, 0.01% earns $6 a year. Moving that money to a high-yield account earns $450. Banks rely on consumer inertia to keep these low-yield accounts profitable. They count on the perceived effort of a transfer, outweighing the desire for a higher return. Sticking with the default account often results in a passive loss of hundreds of dollars in potential earnings every year. Once you understand these rigged defaults, you can implement a structural override. Manual budgeting frequently fails because it requires constant attention to compete with automated institutional systems. The most effective defense is to automate your own wealth retention using the pay yourself first methodology. This involves setting up an automated offshoot that routes a portion of your paycheck to a physically separate account the moment it clears. Removing this money before you see your available balance eliminates the need for daily discipline. It ensures your savings are treated as a fixed obligation rather than a secondary thought. Real wealth retention is often a matter of replacing institutional rules with your own automated boundaries. By choosing where your money lands before the system can claim it, you shift the profit from the bank back to yourself.